It's late September in southern Massachusetts. You and your two sons are enjoying some outdoor time in Freetown State Park before the impending winter months set in. As the kids wander deeper into the forest, you jokingly tell them to stay within eyesight, for these woods have been known to swallow little children. Evening starts to creep in as you gather wood for a campfire. Suddenly, the joyful sounds of children laughing turn deadly silent. You stop what you're doing and call for your boys to come back, but nothing is heard in return. Frantically, you race into the forest, screaming their names in hopes to get a response. Night is approaching quickly, and you chase the audible cues of trees rustling deeper and deeper into the timberland. Disorientation has set in, and panic is taking over your body. You're hysterically crying as you violently break through a massive thicket of vegetation. Suddenly, you feel weightless. Your stomach drops as you take the last seconds of your life to realize you have been lured over a 100-foot cliff. As you swing your body around to brace for impact, your eye catches a tiny, subhuman figure standing at the cliff's edge, watching you take your last breath before your demise. You have become another victim of the Massachusetts Pukwudgie.
There is nothing wrong with your radio. Do not make an effort to modify the volume. We are commanding the broadcast now. If we desire to make it louder, we will adjust the decibels. When forecasting the difference between reality and the extraordinary, perhaps it may not be as simple as it seems, because the world you think you know may not actually exist. Now, let's begin your journey into the Creepcast Terror Files.
What's up, creeps? It's Jason. I'm here with JDK, and we're back for another episode of Terror Files, which this one hits home a little bit, Jay.
Not only does it hit home, but we've also got some momentum here going at Terror Files, baby.
Yeah, we've actually done a couple, and this is great because we're taking our road trip, right? Let's just talk about our road trip. We started in West Virginia. Right. We went to Pennsylvania, right?
Right.
Okay. We just went to Connecticut after this.
God forbid.
Yeah. And now we're diving into southern Massachusetts, man. And this is an urban legend, a little bit of a I guess you call this a cryptid. I don't know what.
It's a cryptid, right? It's what's really cool is you're saying southern Massachusetts, which I think puzzles a lot of people, right? Because
right.
If you're going to Mass, I think a lot of people think you're going north, right?
Correct.
You're going to the 1600s. You're going to the witch trials. You're going to more witches, as we just talked about. What's her from the last episode? What was her name?
Hannah Cranach.
Hannah Cranach.
Yeah.
So, but not to double dip into the witch stuff, man. We're going to southern Mass, as you mentioned, to go into our Pukwudgie.
Yeah, the Pukwudgie, which this is an urban legend, a cryptid that you told me about when you first got here out to Arizona, and I kind of thought you were messing with me, right? But we dove down and did some research on the Pukwudgie, and now I'm excited because I know you have stories and whatnot, and everything. But before we get into that, let's talk. What is a Pukwudgie, right? Let me give it a description real quick. Imagine something that is like this little creature, by the way. And I say a little creature because this thing can shapeshift, so it doesn't really matter. But it's about 2 to 3 feet tall, goblin-like features, large noses, elongated fingers, gray skin. I even heard that they can glow sometimes as well, man. They carry a bow or a spear, and they have like quills on their back, like a porcupine would,
right.
So, which is a little. I don't, this is something mythical, something out of like a Harry Potter series or something, right? So,
right.
But the origins of this thing come from basically Native American folklore, the Wampanoag tribe, and Pukwudgie actually stands for persons of wilderness, so that's the translation of this thing. So this is something that's been around for a long, long time, right?
Right.
This is not like an urban legend that came up in the 50s or something like that.
This is a long time.
Yeah, so this is something that I'm pretty stoked to learn about because I was told that they were originally friendly to humans, okay, and like an ally. But this is where we get into another mythical creature, Mashup, which is it's like a giant, right, entity, I guess, but a kind spirit entity that created the land masses we know as Cape Cod.
How about that,
right? Which I want to talk about that in a second. But I guess when all the attention went to Mashup, right, from the natives, the Pukwudgies got pissed.
Right.
They got pissed, and they got jealous, and so they eventually killed Mashup, and then said, "You know what? Time to start killing humans because you unloyal bastards."
Right.
You know. So, wow, Cape Cod, huh?
Yeah, and all this is going on, and like you said, around Cape Cod, which again, if you're from Massachusetts, the Cape, God forbid you say Cape Cod, it's like you're starting a goddamn turf war or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But so it's kind of crazy though, because like, okay, so if anybody's ever been to the Cape, it's one of the most beautiful parts of the United States. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's incredible. There's islands all over the place. You have Nantucket, you have Martha's Vineyard. It's a gorgeous place. It's the last place on this earth you would imagine there'd be like this freaking war going on between Pukwudgie slaying some. What is it, Mashup?
Mashup, yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's just such a strange thought.
Wow.
It's like Cropsey in New York, just like slaying people on the the shorelines.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then and also because I imagine a majority of Massachusetts is wooded, right? You know, I mean, that's what you guys got. Out here in Arizona, we have desert. You guys have woods.
Sure, but that's the other strange thing, because like northern Mass is where you get all like the woods, like there's some wetlands, but for the most part, dude, in the south where this was taking place, this is where the islands are.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean? Like,
shit!
It's kind of crazy. It's the Cape.
Yeah, and so now you go out into the woods. There's a chance that you could run into a Pukwudgie, right, and whatnot. So but why are they dangerous? That's my biggest thing. Why are they dangerous? So that we went down that rabbit hole, and besides the fact they hate humans now, right?
Right.
What powers do these things have? What are they known to have, man? So like we mentioned, they had arrows, right? A bow and arrow or spears, but they shoot poison arrows at you, okay? Which is wild. They are known to lead you into the wilderness to get lost, or take you into a lake so you can drown and all that stuff. But the biggest thing is they steal children. Okay?
Yeah, this is fucking terrifying.
Right?
Jesus.
And hence you guys hear our story at the beginning of this thing. Yeah, they lure your children into the woods, and then they disappear. Which you as a father, right, or a mother, what are you going to do, right? You're going to go in after these things and go look for them, and it's all part of their big plan to basically destroy you. Like I said, lure you over a cliff, or throw you into a lake, or get you into a lake where you drowned and all that stuff. We mentioned they can actually shapeshift, which is another kind of a cool little piece of lore, right? Into a porcupine, which they kind of look like a porcupine already and everything, right? But also into a mountain lion, which I don't know if anybody's familiar with mountain lions. They're probably one of the most dangerous animals in the United States right now. You know what I'm saying? And so, which is crazy. And they do attack humans. Mountain lions will eat. If you're a jogger on a trail and a mountain lion crosses you, you're dead. I hate to tell you this, right? Unless you have some type of way to defend yourself. So it definitely will take you out on that. I've also heard they can erase your memory.
This is like one dangerous trait after another.
I know.
Dude. This is horrifying.
These little things are fucking destroying people, man. This is crazy.
It's funny when we educate ourselves and like learn about so much more of this, because when I was younger, they would take us down to the Freetown State Forest, right? Which offers 5,000 acres of land. There's a lot of hiking, but the families and a lot of schools would hold like Easter egg hunts there.
Oh, really?
Right? But you would never, like where a lot of kids are running around, they're half-ass paying attention.
Sure.
But like it was so laser focused when we would be near the woods.
Really?
We didn't know what that. We just figured they're just trying to keep us all like cattle just in line and stuff. But no, like they were so hyper focused on that. And another interesting tidbit on this.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got, for a lot of people, if you grew up Catholic, if you would drive in a car and you would pass a church, you'd bless yourself.
Correct.
It was just kind of like what you do, right?
Absolutely.
I never understood what the hell the parents were telling us to do, but every time we drove by a porcupine, like roadkill, on the side of the road, we were blessing ourselves.
No way.
I had no idea. My grandmother would slap my thigh, and I never knew what was going on. I'd ask her, Grandma, like, why am I like, what is? It's a dead porcupine. She would just say it's respect, and I never understood. But I kind of wonder, you know what I mean?
Wow,
was that's
amazing?
I have no idea. In hindsight, it's kind of crazy.
Well, I believe it. Look, I mean, we're all superstitious to one point, right? I mean,
very.
Whether it's you believe in, like, say, cryptids and urban legends, or do you just want your favorite, hockey team to win tonight,
right?
Or whatever, right? But so we all take these superstitions to another level, I guess, when there's impending or a chance of impending doom, right? In other words, my child could be taken from me, and if all I got to do is pay respect to a piece of roadkill or whatever you
Why
see.
take chances?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Or a dead mountain lion or something like that. I'd do it too. You know,
sure.
Don't piss off the Pukwudgie.
Don't piss off the Pukwudgie.
I used to think this was funny thing until I started diving in and how vicious these things actually are, man.
Right.
There's one thing that I really, when I started going down the lore, right, just the Native American lore on this, is that the Pukwudgie can do is basically once they kill you, right, or lure you to your death or whatnot, they can control your spirit. And what they do, they build like an army of spirits, right? From whoever they killed. So they have an army of the undead, technically, that will do their bidding. You know what I'm saying? So or whatever. I don't know what that means, sure. honestly. But
just legions of undead people.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Throughout the, centuries and centuries, So, yeah, they follow the Pukwudgie like, they're just mental slaves or whatever it is, spiritual slaves to these Pukwudgie.
Sure.
And which is even more frightening because if you guys, I don't know if you're out there, you're listening to this, I mean, if you're from Arizona, it's not really a big chance you've been out lost in the woods before, right? Or maybe you have. We have mountainous terrain out here. But if you're listening around the country, we all know going out in the woods. And you know that feeling when it's getting dark and you're deep into the woods. You're like, oh, shit, I may have went too far today, or whatnot. And now you know that your journey back is going to be led, most of it in darkness.
Sure.
Now, you had the fact that there's a legion of undead and there's Pukwudgies out there that basically are there to trick you and take you and basically destroy your soul, That's frightening, by the way. That just adds another level of... Because most people are worried about... I don't know what you're worried about. Like I said, mountain lions, a bear or something like that. Fuck no. I'm worried about the Pukwudgie.
Jason, I'm still blessing myself if I go back home today. If I see a porcupine, I swear to God, I'm still doing the sign of the cross, buddy. But you're right. I take that for granted sometimes being here in Arizona where you're so used to that feeling back on the East Coast of getting lost in the woods or just being out after dark. You know what I mean? And the woods are just... It's just saturated in them, you know what I mean? Like they're everywhere.
Right.
And out here, it just doesn't happen, right? But to best describe it for the people out here is I feel like this was the plot to M. Night Shyamalan's The Village.
Oh.
If you think about it, it would stay the fuck out of the woods.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure that bastard were porcupines. Were they not? Like big
right.
hooded porcupines.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm thinking about this. M. Night Shyamalan. God damn it. You must be inspired by the Pukwudgie.
That's actually very interesting because, this thing is... it's inspired me, you know what I'm saying? Like they said, the fact of what it does, and it grabs at your heartstrings, right? In other words, stealing children. That's it right there, dude, It is. And if you circle back to our debut episode of the Flatwoods Phantom, back to your hometown of West Virginia, we have one of the directors and one of the dudes from Small Town Monsters, Seth Breedlove, who actually validated and verified the Pukwudgie. And was interested in doing some filming. Which is amazing.
Which is incredible. But that kind of gave us, I think, some more interest. Like, oh, shit, like this Pukwudgie's like...
I wonder, because he was actually... He kind of almost discredited our Flatwoods Phantom a little bit.
A little bit. Which was
not really... he kind of leaned more toward it was comets or, something like that, right?
Sure.
But we mentioned the Pukwudgie. I don't know if that was on the show. I can't remember or off the show. He perked up.
He did perk up, man.
He perked up like... Yo, this is real.
Like, let's dive into this.
This is something that we need to investigate. And I wonder, like, how much. I mean, if you're in Massachusetts or in that area. But by the way, guys, there is reports that this thing, Pukwudgie has been seen all the way down into West Virginia.
Okay, so how does it circle back to West Virginia?
I don't know, but they've said that it's rumored to live. And they also live near West Virginia's haunted Moundsville State Penitentiary. Right? They've seen sightings of that and whatnot. So, and I'm going through and I know where Moundsville Penitentiary's at, and looking at the there's a path. I want to say a landscape type of path that these Pukwudgies could travel, and I can see this actually happening. Right, staying in wooded, staying in kind of the mountainous regions and all that stuff. So,
sure.
Hey. I've never personally seen a Pukwudgie or even know anything about them. I guess, but we're so immersed in West Virginia with Mothman and Flatwoods Phantom.
West Virginia's got a lot of shit going on.
We do,
It's kind of rad, though. I mean, if you're like into all this stuff and you're from West Virginia, it's kind of cool, dude. You're championing all the cryptids, all this fun stuff, dude.
Yeah, and so I don't know. Like I said, but this is something I'm frightful of. I'm not going to lie, man. But would you go? Would you go try to hunt these things?
You got to.
Yeah?
It's our responsibility. you absolutely have to. Well, here's the one thing about hunting these guys. So you mentioned that this takes place around Fall River, the Freetown State Forest, the Cape, everything. And all these places are within maybe 10 to 15 miles of one another, right? So you're in southern Mass. It's all very, congested. So if you're looking to hunt these things, you only have you have a very short radius to span. You know what I mean?
Right.
Again, do you dare do it after dark? Do you walk the trails? If you do, I'm sure you're blessing yourself.
You got to. It's so hard too, because like they're shapeshifters, right? They can go invisible. They can. I mean, you know what I'm saying? They can erase your memory. What if you did see him, and the next thing you leave the forest, and you're like, I didn't see anything. You know?
Right.
There's a lot of things that go down, and I know people are probably laughing like, oh, this is bullshit, but is it?
Yeah.
You know, I'm a faithful type of guy, right? Fuck around and find out.
And I gotta say, man, so all the tough guys out there are like, of course, man, right?
Yeah.
Well, let me just set the tone for you here, guys, like the setting, okay? So Southern Mass, again, you have the Cape, you have the islands nearby, the marshlands, the Nantucket, you have Martha's Vineyard. This is one of the most terrifying places to look at in the dark. So Gina, Jason's wife, she's like terrified of lighthouses.
Yes.
There's probably thousands of lighthouses. It's just all it is, right?
Yeah.
And if you guys have ever seen the movie The Lighthouse, it's a very similar, like, you know, like it looks just like it.
Right.
It's dark, it's eerie. There's white beaches, but there's just these creepy lighthouses that look spooky as shit. It's very foggy, it's gloomy, and now you're looking for a Pukwudgie throughout all this shit.
And lots of cliffs, right?
Lots of cliffs. Tons of cliffs.
And there's one thing I know about, like, a lot of the East Coast cliffs, I mean, growing up that way as well, is you will bust brush, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're falling to your death, right? You got a lot of the tree line sometimes goes right up to the edge of the actual cliffs and all this stuff.
Sure.
And the Pukwudgie use this as their advantage, right?
Right.
Once again, luring you, like, looking for your children, and they're making these noises. Oh, it's this way, it's dark. Next thing you know, you take that fatal step, and then you're part of Cape Cod.
You are, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's funny, man, when you date back, and you're like, I used to walk those woods, and I'd see trails of Skittles or M&Ms, and then they would just stop, and you're like, what happened? Like, why did they just stop at this random tree?
Really?
Like, what's going on?
Oh my God! Dude.
But again, man, it makes sense. It's a terrifying thought when you talk about just the visual of them, but then the shit that they do. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah. So in
my opinion, this is the most terrifying one we've done yet.
It to me too, actually, because it's new to me as well. But the fact that the powers these things have is pretty wild, right? So guys, there you go. All right. I mean, another urban legend, another cryptid that...
right. And this is our first one, right, where it's less of a story, but more of a spotlight, right?
Correct,
like we're here showcasing who the Pukwudgie is. There's, I don't know, thankfully and unfortunately at the same time, no real crazy stories reported.
Yeah.
I mean, you swear you have sightings of these things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But what do you believe? Right?
What do you believe?
I mean, that's what we're here for, though.
Yeah, I'd love to know if you guys have ever had an experience with the Pukwudgie. Let us know.
Right.
Put it in the comments and tell us your story, because that's something I'm interested in, man. We said cryptids lore more as part of the Terror Files, and you're getting exactly a little bit of all that with the Massachusetts Pukwudgie.
Right, and after the show, man, the first thing I'm doing is reaching out to M. Night. Not that I have his number on my phone or anything, but I will harass him on Instagram until he answers me. I want to know if the village was based on the Pukwudgie.
That's a great point.
I'm dying.
I love it. So,
I'm dying to know.
All right, guys, there you go. There's another episode of Terror Files. Take this and run with it if you want, but do not run too far into the forest. So until next time, stay creepy.